Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, principal, vice principal, presenters, teachers, community members, parents. Welcome to our annual Social Studies Conference. Today, we will be discussing how we can use various learning resources to enhance the teaching and learning process. At this time, our first set of presenters will be coming. Please make them welcome. Thank you so very much, moderator, for that lovely introduction. Before we begin our first presentation, we would like you to focus on the screen. This is a perfect example of how a teacher uses field trip in her classroom to enhance the teaching and learning process. Good morning, students.
Good morning, Miss.
Welcome back to another beautiful school day. As mentioned yesterday, today we'll be going on a field trip. Are you excited?
Yes.
All right. So today we'll be discussing how we can use plants in our environment for medicine, food, and shelter. So as you can see here, we have a perfect example of a plant, which is the neem tree, which can use for many different medicinal purposes. For example, dandruff in the hair. You can also use it for itching, and if you're a person who are suffering from eczema, you can also use the neem for that purpose. A second plant that we can use for food, of course, is the breadfruit tree. And as you know, many of us here, we love ackee and sawfish. And so you know that ackee and sawfish complements the breadfruit. Am I lying, class?
No, Miss.
Very good. So right here we have our mulberry, and for those who don't know, mulberry is actually a fruit. So this is another tree that provides us with fruits. A fun fact. You know what this tree is called?
Yes, Miss. I have one at home. It's a palm tree.
Very good. And fun fact, did you know that the palm tree is used for housing, to make roofs for attached houses, and they also use for roofing at some restaurants?
No, Miss. I've never seen that.
You know.
So based on the video that you have just watched, a field trip is one of the learning resources that we can use to enhance the teaching and learning process for grade 4. Now the topic that we'll use for this learning resource is tropical plants that provide food, shelter, and medicine. Some of the plants we have seen are that of the palm tree, the leaves of which were and is still being used as roots today. For example, at restaurants, right? Now the mulberry and breadfruit tree were also seen in the video, which is used for food. And who loves the taste of a ripe breadfruit, right? Or a third one roasted, right? And I don't know about you, if you have tasted the mulberry fruit, it is delicious. And even not to forget the neem tree, which is used as a topical and internal medicine. The neem tree can be used for eczema, psoriasis, itching of the skin, and even dandruff. Now let's look at 2 ways in which a field trip can enhance a topic in a classroom. One, as an external learning activity. The teacher can encourage students to research a particular plant they have seen or type they found fascinating and present their findings to the class. So here we are extending the students' learning. 2, as a reflection and discussion. Have students share what they observe, any surprising facts they learned, and questions they still have about plants and its usage. This helps to clarify misconceptions that they might have had during the presentations. As we know, sometimes students don't normally listen, right? So this allows the teacher to clarify any ideas that they may have had because they weren't listening carefully. Now let's look at the advantages of using a field trip. First one is that it allows for the social skill to be developed. Field trips involve collaboration, teamwork, and communication, thus helping students build their social skills as they work together on tasks, observations, or group activities. Secondly, it increases students' engagement. The novelty and excitement of an outdoor learning experience make students more attentive and curious. They are likely to ask more questions and stay actively involved if they are not distracted. And thirdly, it encourages inquiry and critical thinking. Field trips naturally inspire curiosity. Students may wonder about a plant's growth cycle. And thirdly, it encourages inquiry and critical thinking. Field trips naturally inspire curiosity. Students may wonder about a plant's growth cycle, how it's used in different cultures or how it contributes to the ecosystem, sparking deeper inquiry and investigation. Now let's look at the challenges that one may face. The first one is that of behavioral challenges. Students may become overly excited and struggle to follow directions outside of the classroom. Ensuring that all students stay focused and respectful of the environment may be challenging. And secondly, safety concerns. Supervising students outdoors comes with safety risks, especially if students are working around unknown plants, species, some of which could be harmful if touched or ingested. Extreme caution, therefore, and guidance are needed. And last but not least, weather and environmental unpredictability. Field trips are subject to environmental factors like weather. Poor weather conditions can disrupt the trip, and plants may not be in its optimal state or condition for observation, especially if it's off season.
So another learning resource that we'll be looking at today is a visual image for a grade 4 classroom. And of course, the topic that we'll be looking at today is effects of water pollution on marine life. So based on the image that is presented on the screen, here's the description. So the image depicts a section of the Rio River showing discolored, murky water which suggests contamination from factory runoff. Along the riverbank, several dead fish float onto the surface, their body visibly harmed by pollution. The fish in various stages of decay show signs of distress such as pale skin or bloated bodies, a visual indication of the river's toxic condition. The surrounding environment may suggest the presence of nearby factories with potential signs of industrial infrastructure in the background, such as factories discharging waste into the water. The vegetation along the riverbank appears stunted or unhealthy, symbolizing the broader impact on the local ecosystem. Two ways in which the water pollution can be used in a lesson. Firstly, to explain how fish and other animals in the river depend on clean water to survive. You could ask students to imagine what it would feel like to live in an environment with dirty water and no food. Secondly, global citizenship and responsibility. You can introduce the concept of global citizenship and the role of individuals and the roles individuals play in society.
So another learning resource that we'll look at is that of a video. And the topic is effects of the extreme weather conditions, storm, and local communities. Now let's look at the description of the video. The storm video provides an impactful visual representation of the extreme effects of weather, capturing real-life footage of a storm development, intensity, and effects. From this video, students will observe torrential rain and powerful winds uprooting trees and roofs. The video highlights how these elements disrupt daily life, demonstrating damage to infrastructure, threats to safety, as a sheet of zinc was seen on the verge of lifting off, and the suddenness with which severe weather conditions can change. This visual resource is effective for illustrating natural weather phenomena, reinforcing discussions on environmental resilience By watching this video, students will gain a more immersive understanding of the extreme impact weather has on both people and the physical landscape. Now let's look at 2 ways we can use this video of the storm in a lesson. The first one is as an engaging aspect of the lesson. This creates a strong visual impression and set the stage for further activities. And secondly, to start a discussion on what extreme weather conditions are and its effect on human lives. Now, let's look at the advantages of using this video. The first advantage is that of visual engagement. Students' videos provide a dynamic and engaging way to capture students' attention. The visual representation of a storm can help students better understand complex concepts such as weather patterns and evoke emotions that make the lesson more memorable. Secondly, real-life application. A storm video offers a real-world connection to theoretical concepts. Students can see the impact of storms on nature and people, which helps them relate to abstract ideas like meteorological conditions, safety measures, or environmental changes. Now let's look at the challenges that using a video one can face. First, disturbing content. Depending on the severity of the storm depicted, some students may find the image frightening and distressing. It's important, therefore, to consider the emotional maturity of the class and provide a warning if the video contains potentially upsetting scenes. Secondly, limited interactivity. A video is a passive form of learning, so it limits students' interaction. While it can prompt questions and discussions, of course, there is a risk that it may not allow for much student-driven exploration as other methods like hands-on activities or experiments allow. And thirdly, time constraints. Videos can sometimes take up a significant portion of the lesson time, leaving less room for other teaching activities like discussion, hands-on projects, or assessments.
So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our presentation. We hope and trust that this presentation was really educational and informative. For the teachers in the audience, we do hope that you have learned something or, one or two things so that you can go back into the classroom and so your lessons will be even better than what it was before. So thank you again for coming up. So ladies and gentlemen, see you next year at our annual Social Study Conference. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.